Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to the Enlightenment Exchange.
I
If you
feel
haven't
fine.
yet, please hit that subscribe button. We're up to 122. 222 would be like a good next benchmark, I think. You know,
222. Okay.
yeah, three twos, that'd be cool.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
me
think they
too.
should make the subscribe button like this big, like
I know,
straight.
right? I know. But, it is what it is. So, anyway, so we're going to start out today with the Joy Initiative because it's just been so great. I've enjoyed it so much and the different exercises. And
Yep.
then we're going to move on. We're going to move on to, and I love this, the wondrous and the worn in. And I want to talk about your spiritual journey a little bit and how it gets boring and it's different in the middle than it is in the beginning. And I had some really cool realizations. Actually, one of them was just this morning when I was watching a show. So I'll tell you about that after we
Okay.
do
Cool.
the initiative.
I was just reading Arnita Murjani's book, and she says she has something on this exact topic.
Oh,
Uh,
great. So you're going to quote someone else besides me again.
but you like Anita Murjani.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's true.
So it's allowed.
It's true. Well, I mean, it's all allowed. It's just
Well, I thought
actually
I get
it's
razzed a little
validation.
less for that.
It's validation, I suppose, right?
It's
But
just
I
another
mean,
perspective.
I mean, the fact that you were actually reading it speaks to the idea that it's in the energy this month,
All right. Good enough.
right? Like
Indeed.
that's the idea. And I think that a lot of people are in kind of the uh I've been doing some research actually, but wait until we do the Joy Initiative and we'll go
Get
back to it.
get there.
Okay, so I love this one. Pack light, emotional baggage fees apply. In other words, emotional baggage takes up space that could be much better spent on joy, right? Emotional
Yep.
baggage is a block to joy.
Yep.
So what do you think about that?
Jeez. Hello, right?
Right?
I'm 100%. You're absolutely right. What can we do to make things better now?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? It joy is light and expansive, and emotional baggage is heavy. And what's the opposite of expansive? Contractive, dense. I guess
Dense,
dense is a good way to put it.
dense. Yep.
Um, and the truth is, I think that it is a human. Um, okay, there's so many things all at one time. So I've noticed in the last 6 months, give or take, that all of a sudden I see patterns everywhere. It's making me a little crazy, to be honest with you. Patterns in everything. And I'm noticing that some people lean in one direction and other people lean in another direction. It's got nothing to do, I don't know. I don't know if it's got to do anything with their um, astrology. We couldn't get Lisa to confirm or deny that. If you recall, I asked the question about 7 different ways and she wouldn't really commit, which is
Right, right.
cool. Um, because there's a lot of people that really want to think we are at choice, right? We have free will and we choose. But I wonder if, in fact, some of the emotional baggage that we're talking about is like trauma response. And trauma, as a rule, not 100%, but as a rule, a lot of it happens when we're kids, when we don't actually have any free will,
Mm,
right?
interesting.
Right? I mean, right? Like, so,
Yeah,
uh huh. I mean, if you really think about it, most of your knee jerk reactions, you can trace it all the way backwards.
right.
People who
So
have
you're like pre-programmed with, you know, a response when you're young, and it kind of like manifest. I don't want to use the word manifest, but
it does
it, it,
it does
it
manifest.
okay, but it
Right?
plays out when you're older, when you supposedly have free will, but not really because you've got
No,
this
because
still
you got these
pre-programmed.
knee jerk, right? Knee jerk
Yeah,
reaction is nothing about free will. A knee jerk reaction is,
right.
subconscious, right? It's like
Yep.
a reflex. So, I mean, if you think about something like, I mean, an easy one is clean your plate, right? Clean your plate because there are people starving in China or Ethiopia or whatever country they happened to say to you when you were a kid. I don't remember what mine was. I think China maybe.
Mm,
Um, so not only are you being forced to eat something you don't want to eat, right? You're also been now you're given guilt about leaving something behind. Like these
yep,
are all little things that live in your head that even when you think you've got all your food issues dealt with, if you haven't dealt with these little baggage things,
yep.
they still affect you. So, I mean, that is really kind of the point. So, if you take some time and think about your reactions or your responses, and then identify what they might be, like worry. Worry is a big one. I think we're taught to worry when we're kids. I don't worry. I wasn't subjected to it when I was a kid.
Hmm.
I know people that do worry. And I mean, I have a friend whose parents, one of them, when the minute there was a crack of lightning, was across the street in the basement because she was worried, that the
Yeah.
storm was going to whatever it was going to do. Little did she remember that it was the houses on that side of the street that flooded when the rain was really bad because there was a
Mm.
creek behind those houses. But
Oh,
anyway, so
yep.
technically speaking, she was safer where she was.
Uh-huh.
Um, anyway, so I mean, so those kind of things.
Yeah,
Worrying about
I've
something
got
you
one.
can't.
Let me
Okay, go
throw
ahead.
one out there. This is mine. I must say yes to every request, or I must say yes to every project because, oh, you never know when that work is going to dry up. So you have to say yes to every project.
Right.
And guess
And
guess how overwhelmed that makes a person.
well, and not only that, but if you really think about it, counterproductive.
Absolutely.
Because if you have 5 things that come your way and you say yes to 3 of them and do an amazing job, you're going to be better off than if you say yes to all 5 and have to cut corners for all of them to
Where
get
were
them
you about
done.
6 months ago?
Well, I was in the room with you, John. We've been doing this for a couple of years now.
I know, but it's
But
just
I
one.
mean, but this is precisely what I'm talking about though.
Yeah,
It You intellectually understand this.
100%.
It's 100% you get it, but
Right.
still
What
there
did
is
I do?
that that
Yeah,
goes on,
yeah.
you know,
That right there, that we need a word for that thing, but
yeah, that thing. And then on
whatever that.
top of it, somewhere, oh, here we go. We're going to wind up giving this more than the 10 minutes, but anyway, let's go for it anyhow. Somewhere you were taught that you don't really have the worth to be able to choose. You should be grateful for whatever comes your way.
Spot on. That's exactly what I was taught.
So if you turn something down, you would be an ungrateful, whatever
Yep,
word you want to use.
yep.
And then
Or
now,
you you
whoa,
you're accused of pushing away money.
yeah, well, this is so good though. Oh, this is so good. Oh my gosh, this is good. Okay, so now, right? So you're taught if you push those things away, you're an ungrateful such and such, right? Move on to your spiritual journey where you learn that gratitude attracts more to be grateful for, and being ungrateful attracts more ungrateful circumstances. Whatever that word is. You see what
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yep,
at
yep,
though,
yep,
right?
yep.
So
Oh,
subconsciously, not only is that programming playing against you, but it's also counter to the spiritual journey.
wow.
Think about that for a second, like,
Like, this is mind-blowing.
right?
Yeah,
So it's almost like, oh gosh, if I push it away, I'm being ungrateful, but the law of attraction says I should accept what I can accomplish and do well to attract more of what I can accomplish and do well. But if I push these things away, I'm being ungrateful, and the law of attraction says then I'll be uh
screwed.
attracting less to be grateful. Like
Yep,
now you're on this merry-go-round and you don't know how to get off.
right.
So take that, I have to say yes to everything. Make that the piece of baggage that you're going to put down,
Okay.
and then allow that piece of baggage to create space. And here's the trick, fill it with something that represents joy right away. Because I believe if you release something and you don't fill that space up with,
Mm,
if you release
okay.
something that's negative, and by negative, I mean out of alignment, if you don't fill that space back up with something that's in alignment, then you're leaving room for that out of alignment thing to come back to you. That little niggle in the back of your head, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, wow. You
Yeah.
just
No,
never
this is
know what
really
they're going
good.
to come up with.
So let's just take my example again. I must say yes to everything. I'm letting that go. I hereby I'm going to let that go right now, and I'm going to fill it with. Um, I'm grateful for
No,
just the right project.
nope, you're going to fill it with joy.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're going to fill it with the joy that it gives you to do the right project
Oh,
well,
oh yeah. I can feel that. I can
wonderfully.
literally feel that.
hmm Because, it's really interesting. I- I've been, on this sort of journey in 2025 of, kind of changing up what I do. I actually over the weekend took the last of the stuff out of my space,
Yep.
my healing space. So that's
Yep.
basically gone. Um, and for a long time, I was thinking that I wanted to give up doing taxes so I could focus on the spiritual work, right?
Mhm.
Give it up, give it up. People say give it up, give it up. They can go to H&R Block or whatever. But you know what? I love doing it. I'm good at it and I
Mhm.
love it. I don't love all of the people, but I love enough of what I do that the disagreeable ones
A
are
footnote.
just a little bump in the road or a
Yep.
footnote, right? So, I mean, it's and we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of what I'm thinking in the rest of the show. Um, I, I think you have to get really clear on what it is that you want.
Mhm.
So in this moment, what you are doing, you have not built like this humongous tarot practice, which is something that you love to do.
Yep.
But
That's true.
instead, what you're doing are things that still light up your spark and give you joy when a job is well done, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things I really enjoy about the work I do.
yeah, like, I mean, when you're good at something, it's really easy for it to bring you joy,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that say to me, "Oh my God, I don't know how you do taxes. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it." And I think to myself, well, there's a lot of things out there I can't stand to do. So I do taxes, and guess what? I can pay somebody to clean my house.
Yeah. Yep.
Works for me because
Mhm.
cleaning my house is not something I enjoy doing. So anyway, okay, so we're gonna let that go for now. Let's look at the actual exercise, and it's write down or speak aloud 3 bags you're hauling around this week that don't belong in your energy field anymore. So if we're really picturing these things taking up space in our energy field, and we're gonna put them down, and then we're going to invite joy in to fill those spaces. What a great way to do it. You got to
Yeah.
figure out what joy is to you. But so this could be, oh, this is a good one. Needing to be right,
I know. That's
pressure to be productive, old stories about your worth. You know what? And a lot of times you have to shut your eyes and really focus on what that might be.
you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
Don't just go back to the other one. Pressure to be productive. Like, oh my God, I haven't done 12 things today. Right?
Oh, I can totally relate to that. I
Yeah.
can totally relate to that.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Me too. So
So, I mean, because I will at any given moment have a little stack of tax returns to do. And sometimes they, especially because they're here, call and I'm like, wait a minute, I already worked 7 hours today. That's enough.
mhm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's enough. So, consciously choose to drop one of the three. So, for you, you've already chosen
I have.
just for today, just see how it feels. Joy moves more freely when your soul can breathe. And then if you decide that you loved the way that it feels when you drop it, consciously choose to drop it again tomorrow. Don't
Okay.
do it all at once. Don't make it such a big production that it feels uh tentative or scary in any way.
Hmm.
To let something, I mean, something so ingrained in you to let it go forever might be too much. So maybe just today. And then if today works, then let it go again tomorrow.
I
And
like that, staying in the moment.
right, live in the now, the power of now, right? Um, anyway, so that's the joy initiative for this week. Figure out three things that you could pack up and let go of, and then drop at least one of them and allow yourself some space for joy. And remember, no overpacking this week. Joy fits best in a carry on. Okay.
That's clever. And
Right. Well, it's not all me, but that's
I know
okay. Um,
that's okay.
anyway, okay.
Who left us a
Hello.
comment? Let's see. All right. That's a nice comment.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you where we're going to go for this week. I'm going to watch the time. We went a little over our 10 minutes for joy, but that's okay. I was watching the repair shop this week, and I think you've heard me talk about the repair shop before.
Yeah.
And I, these people brought in, I think it was called Uncle Joe's. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's okay. Um, it was called Uncle Joe's Magic Box, and what it was this wooden box, and when they lifted up the top, inside were these 12 little automatons, little men that they were meant to be like the blacksmith, and I can't remember what all the little jobs were, but they were all like little farm jobs, like these little
Okay.
automatons.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
made in the early 1900s by a man who carved it all, and he put together the whole mechanism, and you twisted a crank, and the little strings would pull, and the blacksmith would
Oh,
hammer, like it was really really cool. And
wow.
I was looking at it and I was like, wow, these kids now would look at that and say, what even is that?
Right.
But if you can imagine going back to 1905, seeing that box open and watching it crank, they took it, what they said was this person's grandpa made it, and then they took it to like um, different community events and put it on display so that, people could see this working. And I thought, wow, I mean, it was such an attraction. It was so wondrous. It brought so much joy. And I thought, now, I mean, we look at it now, it makes me smile. But a
Hmm.
little kid would be like, give me my tablet,
Yep. I know.
right? So, what I was thinking about was how that parallels this sort of spiritual journey. And
Okay.
when you actually, when your abilities start to reassert themselves or start to come to the surface, and all of a sudden, I mean, I remember in the beginning, I had fast. Some of it came fast and furious. Every time I turned around, I could do something else. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you learn to read tarot and you make these connections, and maybe you learn that you can connect with the departed on the other side, or you have all these things that
Right.
happen, right?
Yep. Yep.
And what's interesting about that is that when you first start out on the journey, everything is new and it's
Hmm.
fresh and it's
Yep.
exciting, just like that automaton theater, maybe we'll call it. And then as time goes by, you do these things a little bit more and you do it a little bit more. And now it just really starts to get worn in. And I wonder how many people are on a spiritual journey that kind of feel like that. Like when we first started, I mean, we were all over it, right? Let's
Yep.
do
Yep.
these groups and let's do these exchanges and let's do, let's do energy work and let's do energy shares and let's do all of these things. And as time goes by, it just becomes what you do. And it gets
Yeah,
harder to keep it fresh.
there is
And
an
and it's
element of
progress, right?
yep, yep. Can I tell you what Anita Morjani said?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's related. It's not exactly the same, but it's related. And what she said is when she had her right prior to her near death experience, of course, she was working, she was, involved, she had friends, she went out, she did stuff. After her near death experience, and she comes back and, basically experiences healing so that she can have her life, her second life actually. All of a sudden, a lot of this stuff that she used to do just seemed like really pointless. And so, like, she said, I didn't want to have a real estate job anymore. It felt pointless and boring. And she said that she used to go out with friends, and that just didn't seem like she was even interested anymore. She says, what I really wanted to do is sit and watch the sun rise on the beach or watch the waves crashing and just experience the joy of nature. And she said it was such a profound change in what gave her joy. And I think some of what we're doing is when we're just kind of doing the same thing, that becomes like, you know what, this doesn't have the energy it used to. But then finding something that does give you that energy, for example, being out in nature or something like
Right.
that.
But what you're describing, what she experienced, that is the beginning of the journey. That's not the
True.
middle or the end,
Okay.
right?
Yep. You are correct.
And
You're correct
and
about
and
that.
how many sunrises do you watch before they become old hats? I mean, not
Yeah.
as a shot, right?
No,
You're
you're
on
right.
the
You're
you're
right.
on the
You're right.
right track here, absolutely. Um, but the idea is that how do you keep it? You know, I mean, so many of us. I really believe that everybody has access to all the clairs. I do believe that some people are more suited to one than another, but
Mhm.
we have access to all of them. Um, Sometimes I just know things. Sometimes I hear things. Sometimes I see pictures. Like that's already three right there.
Right. Right.
Sometimes I smell things. There's another one. Like we all have access to all of them. And I just wonder sometimes another thing. Actually, this is off track for that particular statement, but I think a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, already all of a sudden I've got these abilities. I'm psychic or I'm a medium or I'm this." And they think the next logical step is creating a business out of it.
Hmm.
And I mean, I did. I know I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, that.
Not a shot. That's not at all a shot. It's I
What
mean,
do
and
you
it
think I did
I
first? I made a website.
yeah, right. Well, of course. And I didn't, but I believed for a long time you didn't need a website, that a Facebook page would do it. And I was right about that, to be honest. In fact, the website is still, but that's beside the point. Um, when I first started out, I was all over it. I wanted to do energy work. I wanted to have a table. I wanted to have clients.
Yep.
I wanted to do 3 or 4 energy work sessions in a day. I wanted to do all that. And
Me
I
too.
started on that path. And then after I did it for a few years, the next thing I knew, I had my hands, you know, sending energy to a client. And I thought, well, this session must be almost over. And I look up and 5 minutes had passed.
Mhm.
I thought it was 45. So
Yep.
I was like, huh. So you can't know exactly what it is that you want to do when you first start out. You just can't know.
Right.
It may seem wonderful, but it seems wonderful because it's new, right? And it's fun because it's new.
Yeah.
But how long can you do certain things? So what's interesting is, like I wanted to know what they say familiarity breeds contempt. So what
Yeah.
does familiarity feel like in a spiritual practice? What does it feel like? So no thrill or tingle. You pull a card and you think, yeah, that one again. or going through the motions. Your rituals feel like a to-do list, not a doorway. That's how it felt when I was doing energy work after a while. Just,
Yep.
you know, um and this is really something. Doubting the magic. Was it
Mm,
ever really that magical or
yeah.
was I just
Full of yeah,
naive,
just yep.
right?
Stars in your eyes, right?
And then you just forget the why. You stop asking questions you stop asking big questions because you think you already know the answers,
Mm.
right? Instead of really, I mean, what are the questions you ask your tarot cards look like now compared to the beginning? You know what I mean? How do I
Yeah.
get through the day? Should I do this or should I do that? What car should I buy? Or what do I need to know today? Not like what unseen influence is impacting my spiritual journey. Give me three cards and tell me the story.
Hmm. Wow.
Back in the beginning, that's what you asked,
Yeah,
right? Things
yeah.
like that. Now you maybe you just draw a card now and you don't even ask a question. You just draw a card and it gives you what you think the energy of the day is. I mean, it's um
So, here's what I think it is. I think it comes down to one concept, and that is either having or not having curiosity. I think
oh, huge.
curiosity
Yep.
is just a big, big, big part of not being in the doldrums or the worn in feeling. And we can talk about how to regain curiosity, but to me, that right there is kind of a core concept.
It's really interesting that you say that because I remember thinking um Dougal Fraser, so Dougal
Yep,
Fraser, and I've been in one of his groups for a couple years now, or I'm on the
yep,
second year I think now. And I remember when I sat and listened to him speak to other people in the room, that was one of the first things I noticed. He's so curious. What
yeah,
do you do?
yep.
What do you like? What's going on? I see that crystal behind you. What is it?
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
mean,
really.
like,
Yeah.
but it's genuine.
Oh, absolutely. You can feel that.
It's
You can feel it.
genuine and it's not, I don't know, shall we use the word phoned in? You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
It's not on a script. He really wants to know.
Yep.
And
You
it's
can feel that. You can feel
you
when someone has
can
genuine
feel that.
interest.
And and that one is a little bit hard for me because there's a lot of things about other people that I just don't want to know.
Mhm.
So my curio I it's not that I don't have curiosity, it's just not as broad. Like, what makes you tick? How did you figure out how to read those cards? How do you relate to crystals? Like, I want to know those things,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I don't care what your
Where they took their
background is.
last vacation.
Well, no, right, or what the background is on your Zoom screen. Like,
Sure. Sure.
I already know most of them anyway because I have Zoom my own self. Like,
Yep.
but so I just I think you might have really hit on the answer for this one. Because
I'm.
if you think
Yeah.
about those people and that automated Uncle Joe's magic box, people saw a picture of that on a poster for a carnival or whatever, and they were curious.
Hmm.
Wow, look at this. This is something I've never seen, something I've never experienced. I want to know what that's all about.
Right. How does that work? Right. And like, I you know we, then the curiosity. How long did it take him to make this? And what's the mechanism going on underneath? And
Yeah, and it was so cool to look at the mechanism because I mean, this guy literally made it out of sticks and twigs almost.
I know.
I mean, the ingenuity that it
Yeah.
took. Like, you had to know that that guy was connected to some kind of divine spark,
Yep.
that he was able to make all of those things work all together. It was amazing. Um, but anyway, so I asked a quick question, how to revive curiosity. So I want to see if there's anything here like that. Well, one is ask different questions instead of what does this mean? Try what if this meant something entirely different today?
Hmm,
Curiosity loves an open-ended question. So not maybe that particular question, but open-ended questions. Like I like, I mean, the truth of the matter is we could all live just fine without pulling a card every day.
true.
We don't need it. It's not necessary. It and so what if we were or what if it's this? A card or the crystals or whatever. You use the card or the crystals to get to a certain level, right? And
Hmm.
if you stay at that level and you continue to ask the same questions, you're just going to stay at that level. So what if when you get to X level, you really have to rethink those questions you're asking and start asking new questions to
Hmm.
invite
Go,
new
go a
energy
little
to the
deeper.
party. Go a little deeper, go a little higher, go a little broader, go a little different, go directly behind you maybe. Like go well, what if, okay, great. I got this tarot thing down. What if I put those down for a little bit and try something completely different?
Lenormand.
Well, or not. What if
Right.
it is crystal grids? Or
Oh, yeah.
what if I do go learn energy work? Or what if I put all of it down and go learn about sacred geometry?
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, which is
So,
not to say put it down
yeah.
forever.
Yep. What
It's
what what you're doing right now is you're poking my curiosity, Angie.
there you
And
go, right?
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that's something I know I was interested in that in a while ago. Why why not pick it back up
Why
and
not pick it back up?
pursue it? Yeah.
And maybe time constraints really have you needing to choose.
Yeah.
Maybe you do need to put down tarot for a minute so you can pick up something else in that 12 minutes a day that you have available for these kind of
Yep.
things or
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Right. No, no, that's
So
accurate.
I love this. So another one is interrupt your patterns, change the deck, move your altar, sit in a different chair, try a new tool or skip one entirely, which is what I already said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And curiosity shows up when routine is disrupted, just
Okay.
like magic.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. And you know what?
Um,
I have no end of different decks to try because I've got like 20 on the floor here that I haven't
yeah,
even
right.
opened.
Yeah, I managed to get mine on a shelf, and I don't know how many are over there. There's still more somewhere else. I think I got another box full of them or something.
Yep.
And I got a couple over here, and then but I do gravitate always to the same ones. So right,
Yeah.
change it up.
You know what? Maybe this year, this week, I'm going to put my regular deck away and
What
pull
that
out.
is a challenge for you, and I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay, all right. I'm going to find the deck right now. It's got to be tarot. So here's Radley's um, Animal Guides tarot. That's a possibility. Let's see what else do we got here. That's Oracle, Oracle, Oracle.
What's wrong with an oracle deck? That's totally different.
Well, it's just not the way we do things around here, Angie.
Uh-huh. See?
Fine, fine. All right. So the word is the.
What about the inner child deck for a week?
Okay. All right.
Maybe that will help you identify some of the baggage you need to put down. I mean, you
All
might
right.
get a double bubble for that one.
All right. You're on. I will use this deck this week.
Perfect. I really, really love that deck.
I do too. And you mentioned it a couple times. We did a card pull on that. I think that's one that we got the same card on.
Yeah, it is. So I think that's a great deck. Um, so here's another one. I like this. Play Oracle Roulette. Flip open a book, grab a random crystal, or spin your deck like a wheel and draw. So I did this last week. This is the book by Karen Kay, The Fairy, and
Oh
it's got
yeah.
all these exercises. This is a great book, published, of course, by Hay
Hey
House.
house. Yes.
Um, and it's got all these different exercises within it. So I just okay. So number 63, receiving fairy gift. That's what I'm going to work on this week.
All right.
Receiving fairy gifts. I love gifts from fairies, as long as you remember to give them gifts. Oh yeah, check these out. I love them. My new
Okay.
glasses.
Sweet.
See,
Oh, I love
cute.
them
I
very
love
much.
them. Um, Receiving, or more importantly, accepting a gift from the fairies forms a kind of unwritten contract. I mean, you have to, like if you're going to work with the fairies, you need to be serious about it. So, um, I love it. Now, this one looks a little harder to me. Pretend you've never done this before. Approach your reading or breath work or meditation like a beginner.
Mm.
And we're talking about beginner. We've talked about beginner's mind in the past,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how beginner's mind, it's really the first thing to go, right? We
Yeah.
start doing things by rote, right? Over and
Right.
over and over again. And
It,
so these
and
ideas,
with that,
um,
I think what's going on is the expectation. You already have the expectation of how it's going to work.
right. And
And
it not only that, but it does. That is how it works, right?
yeah,
Right.
true.
I mean, it's just like, if you think about it, it happens in the cards when you ask the same question of the cards, and you keep getting the same card, or you ask, what do I need to know today, and you get the same card day after day after day. The cards are responding to that sort of redundant and mundane energy. That's
That's
what's
true.
happening.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
So, oh, I love this. I'm going to do this legit for real.
all right, let me
Invite
hear it.
invite something new to speak. Try
Ooh,
connecting with a guide, energy, or being you've never met. Just say, is there someone new who wishes to show me something today? And I get a
ooh,
resounding yes.
Angie, that gave me chills. I
I
don't know.
know.
That's really interesting.
Curiosity gets supercharged when a new perspective walks in.
Okay,
I,
sign me
I,
up.
I can see them. I can see them splitting. You know, I, I, I get it. I understand, because I had this like really great sort of epiphany of what it is that I want to do moving forward, and how
Yeah,
I want
yep.
to and I'm really going to put it out there, and really I am going to hope that there are other people like me who just want to be surprised once a month. This month we're
Surprise
going
me.
to,
Yes,
this
surprise
month
me.
we're going to meet guides, and maybe next month it's crystal grids, or maybe I'll show you how to make a crystal machine, or maybe we'll do readings or channel something, or,
This
you
is the
know,
most interesting thing you've ever come up with.
I think so, right? Like I'm so
Because
excited
I
about
am
it.
so much of a like exploratory kind of person, and
Right?
yeah,
And the
I
information that I have is that people um people are really like, they're getting sick of excuse me, shadow work, and uh the
same kind of
the same
looking at the
old,
dark. Yeah,
like,
same old. Look at the dark side. That's so
so
true.
it's like, I mean, if you really think about it, they're worried about doing it right. Am I doing it right? They read the books, they pull the cards, they've taken the classes, but they still don't, it doesn't resonate with them. So they wonder, am I doing it right? Or
Mhm.
they're burned out from doing too much deep and heavy shadow work, right? Like they're just tired of it.
You know what? That goes back to your comment that you've made a number of times. Is I don't want the dark stuff. I want this to be fun,
Right.
and
Right.
that's wrapped into the curiosity. Let's.
I really believe, like people are craving connection, but not more structure.
Hmm.
Like, so everything is so structured all the time, so structured. I want it to be open, and the only way you discover what your abilities are and the things that you can do is to step away from the people in the books, and eh, not just the books. It's not just the books. So don't take that as a shot
No,
or
no, no.
whatever.
I'm
But
listening.
the books and the modalities and the teachers that want to tell you this is how it works.
Yep. Yeah,
All
I
of
gotta
those
tell you
things
something.
should give you permission to get your own and gather your own sparks, right?
I was on a call with other entrepreneurs, and there's a group of people I didn't know, and everyone was trying to figure out they're launching something, and one lady got on and says, "Well, it's supposed to be done. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to have this done first, and she just kind of outlined every single step that you're supposed to do for building like a new online presence or a new business." And I was like, "Oh, ho hum, ho hum."
Yeah,
Is
right.
it just and it was weird that energy was like, well, we have to do it this way because that's how it's done.
And
And
you know what's interesting about that? Not to cut you off, but what's interesting about that is I think what you're talking about is responding to the energy of the world as well.
okay,
Because the way what you're talking about, the way it's supposed to be done, worked five
yes,
years ago,
yes,
maybe 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago.
yep,
But does it really still work? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if you're trying to create if you're an online entrepreneur, there are people that will tell you you need to do this, 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 and this. Build
yep.
a Facebook page, get 10,000 followers,
Get
do
an email
Facebook
list.
ads, get an email list, get 20,000 on your email list, send out you know what? I'm sorry, but that stuff it's not the same. It
Right.
just
It
doesn't
might
work
work.
like that anymore.
Yep. There are certainly big shifts have that have already happened, are happening right now, and are going to continue to happen, that are going to make some of those things not work and other things work better.
Well, and right. And like for example, email. How many people do you know have a fake email so that when they sign up for something,
It goes there.
that's where it goes?
Yep.
So all those emails you craft and load into a workflow and send regularly to nurture your client base
Yep.
are going to garbage
Nowhere.
Gmail addresses,
Yep.
right? Because they don't want their normal email box to be filled with that stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, there's always room to try something new, I think. And if you can find some kind of beautiful balance between what works well and move away the things that worked but maybe not as well
Hmm.
and move something new into those spaces, I think you have the opportunity to start, creating something again more interesting and something that you want to follow. So, um, I mean, if you look, people are they want experiences that are fun and flexible. I want something real but not rigid. They want magic. People are looking for magic
Yeah,
now.
that's true.
And what's interesting is also that the more we focus on the magic and the more that we focus on curiosity and creativity, the brighter the lights shine.
Hmm.
That's exactly what we need right now, isn't it?
I agree 100%.
So, everything online sounds the same, they're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we can blame AI for a little bit of that because
Well,
it's
I
drawing.
mean, I don't know. I think maybe we can, but I think we can also blame the marketing gurus for that.
Oh, all right.
I mean,
100% on that.
I don't and I never bought any of them, but there were I have at least one, two, three, four, at least four programs from, the mid 2010s, I guess we'll say.
Sure. Yep.
2015 to 2020, uh, 5,000, 6,000, $8,000 marketing programs guaranteed to get your online
Yep.
entrepreneurship
Yep. Me
off the
too.
ground. But they
Yep.
all taught the same thing.
Yep. Essentially the same thing. And
And you didn't
it
hear
did.
from all those people for a while, and now you're starting to hear from them again. And what they're putting out there is different than what it was back then.
Right.
I think, although I will say, I will give you this: it is very easy to recognize the AI.
That is true.
If
Yep.
you ask AI to create something for you and you don't put your own spin on it, put your own voice to it, it does all sound the same.
I know, and that's where we have to struggle to really use our own voice.
Oh, I don't struggle.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to follow someone else's set of rules,
Right.
that's the danger.
But what I'm saying is I don't, right? I mean, AI speaks I go, "No, that sounds too much like you. I want you to make it sound like me."
Yep,
Or I'll take it out and I'll redo it. But I've got it now to where it sounds a lot like me. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? Like,
yep.
that's the idea. I'm also not afraid of AI, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm not either. That's
Anyway, so you're brand new. All of a sudden you have all these abilities and all these gifts, right? And you start out with a gift, the gift to read the cards. And then all of a sudden maybe you discover that you hear, the tap tap of mediumship. So many people I think are so quick, and I did this too, so it's not just judgment. Oh, I could do this, but look at this. Now I can do this. Let me do that too. And now look at this. I can do this. Now let me do that too. And I think the problem is that you forget to sit back and take in the experience,
mm,
to enjoy the ride, right?
yeah,
Sit back and enjoy the ride. Don't cultivate a new thing until have really explored all the joyous portions of the current,
yep,
whatever the current thing is. I
yep,
think that's um
yeah. And that kind of goes back to my comment earlier about saying yes to everything.
yeah,
Maybe
right?
it's say yes to everything, but be sure to enjoy the thing you say yes to before you say yes to the next one.
I mean, right? And I remember there was a teacher that taught that say yes to everything, say no to nothing, say yes to everything, invite everything into your world. And I think there are a lot of people for whom that worked. But I think that there's, well, I mean, if you really look at it, everybody's different, right? There are a lot of people who made a quarter or $500,000 a year being in the Mary Kay program.
Hmm. Yep.
And then probably a million others that didn't.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just things that work for some and not for others.
Right.
That's just,
Right. The fallacy is like anyone can do this, right?
yeah, which
Whether
is
it's
baloney.
spiritual, Mary Kay, starting a business.
Yeah.
If
And
anyone can do it,
if
sorry.
anyone could do it, we'd all be doctors, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But, with a million, $1.2 million a year salary, or what, we'd all be ComEd CEOs or something
Right.
of that
Right.
nature. Um, mm, yeah, I mean, it just is what it is.
Right. So the fact because di different people excel in different ways, finding what I'm going to use a term now, what resonates with you
Yeah,
is
right.
what will get your business or whatever you're trying to accomplish moving forward.
And I'm struck by the idea that nothing is necessarily, and we have to cut off soon, but I want to give this final thought in the end. Um, it is possible for somebody who picks up garbage to find joy in that job. It's possible for somebody who works in the grocery store to find joy in that job. It's
Yes.
possible for somebody who works at the gas station to find joy in that job. You know, I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of opportunity for joy in jobs that are of service.
Right. You're
You
interacting
know,
with other people and
right?
you know
Um,
the challenges and the joys of that.
exactly. And just, if all of us who interact with those people remember that a little bit of gratitude, some kindness, and a smile goes a long way to helping them access their joy.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it when I feel the energy shift of somebody that I smile and say, "Have a
Yep.
wonderful day."
Yep.
And I feel their energy shift. And you know what that gives me? joy. So
Mhm.
there you go. It's
Nice.
that easy. So anyway, so that is that for today. We went over again like, normal.
But but we
Um,
but we wanted to.
but it was all good stuff. So anyway, so this week, don't forget to unpack your baggage and leave it behind and try something new. Do something different. Shake it up a little bit. And remember that
Call in a
what
new guide. I think that's
I
the one that
know,
both
I
made us go,
love that
"Yeah."
one. That's exciting as heck. Um, that's exciting. I don't know. Maybe there'll be surprise on the live stream, but we'll see. I'm not making any promises because still tax returns to do. But listen, have a wonderful week.
Let's
We
give
will
them
talk to you
let's
next
give 'em some
week.
high five energy.
Here's your high five. We see you, we hear you, we got you. We will talk to you next Wednesday.